Entering the third year of my second playthrough of Seljuk. Uh, this is pretty much where my first playthrough failed. But this one is also falling apart in a different sort of way. I haven't completely failed with both sides, but the Seljuks got themselves in an ugly situation for a number of reasons. Mainly me not understanding some of the consequences of my actions again. But it wasn't like the last time where I failed to get coins on both sides and just had both armies disband. Instead, it was a real battle. Well, it wasn't a battle. It was Alp Arslan and this guy, I don't know who he's called, Arsigi. I thought that was what it was. Were both forced back to retreat from Roman territory in such a way that they lost their loot and they didn't have any coins again. But right now we're in a situation where the Romans have overwhelming force in Constantinople and the Seljuks only have one leader who only has two lordship and might have some difficulty bringing another commander into play. I think I decided this is the guy I want to bring in. He's not necessarily my best, but he has Turkic horse, which gives him a little bit more mobility, same as this guy. I'm probably not able to bring two people in, and you only have really enough cards to operate two forces completely. Point-wise, the Romans have gotten ahead in points because the Seljuks didn't manage to get their unity requirements. I really am coming to the conclusion that while the game may or may not be unbalanced, it certainly is a lot harder for the Seljuks to succeed. The Romans can play a game in which they kind of can pound the Seljuks if they show their noses anywhere. And I think the easiest way I've come towards the Seljuks winning is to take a real chance at things early on and try to beat the Romans in the field when things are about equivalent. Because if the Seljuks spread out and try to get their unity points and everything consistently, the Romans are going to stomp some of their people. And that doesn't necessarily drive them away. I did manage to destroy one guy. It was kind of, an unlucky occurrence for the Seljuks, to be honest. And then beyond that, some mismanagement beyond that, really. But yeah. I'm on, I guess it's Wednesday. It's weird because I was awake. I slept in lots of little pieces over the night and woke up around noon. But I was awake at, like 6 in the morning and caught the garbage truck, which usually doesn't come by early. It usually comes by in the early afternoon, pick up my trash. So I went down and got that. But then I went back to sleep. And anyway, I didn't play any, though, which is kind of cool. I did a lot of reading, a lot of playing on my video game, because the designer noted that I failed to reduce carts by half in the winter quarters thing. I'm also worried that I didn't do it in the first one either, but there's no fixing that. But yeah, here. But it's, you round up, right? Reduce costs to half their amount rounded up. I may have done that before, so it may be just a very lucky thing for me. It is a big deal because I have been accumulating all these carts at this point. So these are things that I need to recover some of to have the same kind of army in place, and that one's covered. Anyway, I'm tossing back and forth in my head going shopping. It's not a beautiful day, but it's a pretty day. Not big shopping, just, but maybe my larger backpack because there are interesting things I want to get. So I may not play for a while. And then I'm also toying, well, I also found out what I expected, that I fucked up when I sent in my inheritance stuff. I need to get stuff notarized, but like I had already signed it, and I'm like, I don't know if I can even get it notarized after I've signed it. So I'm getting a whole new set of forms and have to go through that again. But I mean, the hard part is I don't know what the hard part is. But anyway, I also fucked something else up on them, I was told, which is cool. I'll fill it all out and go to the notary and sign it there. If I can remember. I pretty much blew the day off. Oh, it's like, I don't know. It's late at night. It's not midnight yet. But my neighbor's lights are mostly out, which I think means that it's getting on 11. If not past. Anyway, it was a pretty day. I did go out to go shopping, but I got about a third of the way there and decided I didn't really need to carry a bunch of. I went with my backpack, and I decided I didn't need to carry a bunch of jars and stuff in my backpack. I didn't want to do that. It's nothing that vital that I needed. Like, if I'd brought my whole cart, it would make some sense, but I really didn't want those things digging into my back. And then I fucked around, read quite a bit, played the video game. I opened up a bunch of new stuff in it, so I don't know. So I'm back up here at the beginning of the third year's spring. We got rid of the carts. Now, the carts go away only in winter quarters. Yeah, okay. We might have gotten it right in the first turn, or first year. I don't know. I'm really having trouble starting to play because I know it's a foregone conclusion. That's one part. I also don't have something to follow up with. I'm reading a novel and not rules to anything and don't have anything prepped and might end up doing something tiny or whatever. You know, one of those DG games, but God, I don't want to. I think I'm just going to go downstairs and read some more. Well, happy Thanksgiving, I guess. It's, it's such a hard thing for me because even when, except for the 1 year where somebody invited me, even when my wife and I were together, we did like 1 year as well where I got Thanksgiving stuff while we were here. I don't know if I did one in Phoenix. I had a tendency to do sort of I don't know, like buy a cheap frozen turkey breast and make mashed potatoes and peas and I don't know, just something that in my cans of cranberry jello. And I really wasn't, like, yesterday's shopping wasn't looking in that direction. Anyway, here we are at the Seljuk game. It's really becoming hard for me to come up here, as you saw from the last one, because this is the point where somebody would quit the game, right? But, like, I'm getting hooked into my video game to a degree that I don't like. I'm done with my book. But now I'm thinking, I got half a cigar, I should make coffee, or I don't really want to get to drink. Make coffee, sit out on the porch and read the rules to the next thing. But you know what? I'm not going to get through this unless I start doing something. So let me shuffle up those Arts of War cards and start the levy phase. Part of the problem is this may take a while to get around to actually finishing the Seljuks off. They're in a lot of trouble, but they may survive it. Like, it's not particularly easy to wipe someone out in this game. It's very easy to wipe yourself out by fucking up. Stop setting the time and date on these. I mean, it's not like I use it. It's just to get rid of the annoyance. But it's like, it's annoying more often because I switch batteries pretty often. It's annoying more often than it's not. And if I don't set it, I can just click the record button. And it's fine. The problem is I can't see what I'm looking at until I click that record button. So I got common cultural cause. This is a hold for battle or storm. Moves up to 2 Turkish horse Themata service markers and or Turkish horse units at the active lord's locale from play. Again, remove from play sounds permanent, but that's what they seem to mean by, you know, destroy or whatever. Got a mountain ambush, command confusion. Like, I've got stuff that'll work for me in battle. And then I've got this fuck with the Romans, which I gotta remember to play. Last time it wasn't that important. I don't know. Maybe it was. And then I've got the Siege of Body, which goes here. Remove from play 2 unlevied Themata. Mark them. I don't think that I'm going to be able to win by raiding, but I don't have a good plan of how I'm going to get ahead in this game or restore a position. My victory points are already lagging greatly, and I'm going to have a hard time being able to get a raid, getting raiding commanders out with that many Romans able to just slop one of my leaders down or chase me back and do ugly stuff like they did here, where they're cutting my routes. But these guys are good, and I ought to get rid of them. Let's just get rid of a couple of these and figure out what I'm doing beyond that. Card is going to give us one of those Themata service markers previously removed from play, not just destroyed or whatever. So, you know, back to its home base. I'll look through and make that. But here's a problematic one. I'm going to have to come back after looking in the playbook. If Aleppo Seljuk conquered, it's not, and no siege marker, place independent Aleppo, okay? And like, that's not enough. That sounds like, oh, the Seljuks just won the game there. If already present, place Roman conquered instead. Well, it is already present. Adjust victory point mark. If already marked or no event in effect, discard and draw a new event instead. Well, this hasn't happened before, and that's the already marked part. But I'm a little confused, like, does the Aleppo Independent go away when this happens? Because otherwise, this is a card that basically hands Aleppo for free with the victory over to the Seljuks. Well, it doesn't hand Aleppo to them. It hands the independence marker to them. It doesn't say that it gets rid of the conquest. Anyway, I will take care of these things and come back once I figure out what the fuck they're actually talking about here. And you know, I mean, they used a lot of words, but it's like almost every one of these cards that they use a decent amount of words in, and a fair amount of those that don't, are like Yeah, you're going to have to go look this up. This is not the proper use of cards, and this is something I've objected to in Levying Campaign a lot. They try to put rich events into it, and there's just not space on, half a card to specify enough that you can actually understand what's going on. Maybe if you play this game a lot, you don't have to do those lookups, but it just feels like a misuse of cards. And it's a problem because there's this clever system with two different things on the cards instead of, an ops point and an event that you choose between. Here you've got like random events that could come up no matter what, and capabilities, but they interact with each other in the sense that the capabilities prevent certain events from happening. If already present is the Aleppo Independent, which is what we assumed, once this event occurs, either by placing the independent Aleppo marker or causing Aleppo to become Roman conquered, its once per game effect is considered triggered and cannot occur again. I get the feeling that what it's meant to do, but this is not stated neither on the card nor in the event clarification, that if Aleppo's conquered, they become independent and they get rid of that conquered marker. It does not say that. If Seljuk conquered and no siege marker, place independent Aleppo. Independent Aleppo and conquered is the victory condition for the Seljuks. So somehow if you've conquered Aleppo and this card comes up, by the rules as written, this is going to give you the victory conditions for that winter and, changes the whole game and makes things ugly. Now, how likely are the Seljuks going to conquer Aleppo and hope that comes up? So, that's almost an impossibility. What I think happens instead is, or what does happen in this case is this, which just gives another victory point to the Romans. The Aleppo independent marker has come up, and now we look for this thing, which feels honestly more like a reason for the victory than anything else. And that card goes back. I'm going to start my coffee and come back up because I don't think I'm going to be able to make it into the campaign phase. I'm already feeling like right now, on that first playthrough, I definitely would have walked away after having to cope with that. But I know I need to push through in different ways. My neighbor's not doing Thanksgiving at his house, but like at his daughter's or something. Usually, by this time of day, he's got like a smoker out or something like that, and there's stuff happening at the house. So I'm just Mr. Nosy right now. It's one of the few things that I have that's real world that I get to look out at. That and people wandering through my yard. All right. It's pay time. Bay is basically fucked and has to push himself forward again. But what about the Byzantines? Because they've got a lot. I want to keep them? Oh. Yeah. You've got these people who have to come up with pay, every turn, basically. Because once they go past, now I could push them further. Who else needs to? The Emperor. The Emperor needs to pay. Somebody else could give him money, but he's got so much cash on him that I think it's a good idea for him to. And What about this guy? You know, he's in pretty good shape. Oh, shit. The Emperor has so much cash on him. This guy I'm going to pay too. I want to keep these armies all operating here. And that means nobody's going to disband. I have this, okay. Which puts me to the tricky muster phase. Everybody gets to muster because it's a spring turn and everybody had to go home. This worry when I'm heading down the spiral steps and I'm wearing my socks, or what's left of them, whatever socks I'm wearing to keep my feet warm, you know, when it's not summer, that I'm going to slip and fall, and so I have to hold the railing and all that kind of stuff. It's never happened, but, you know, it seems likely. But then that reminds me of my past wife and like how terrified she was of these stairs particularly. But even like in Phoenix where we had these steel reinforced concrete stairs going up to the apartment, they'd kind of shake a little bit. Anything like that would worry her. She wasn't at all worried about like the stairs going down to the basement, which don't shake, but might be just as dangerous if there's like rotting wood under them or something. You know, it's just not clear. But it's like that sort of fear of the stair. Uh-oh, he's up to something. He's not getting a heater out. He's probably just playing with, looks like he's moving trucks around. Sometimes, yeah. Anyway, avoiding game, telling you personal stuff, interfering in everything else because I want to chatter. I will, you know, I'm a lonely guy. But anyway, let me start figuring out this muster. No problem, I'm down to one lord. I start looking through my Arts of War, but I'm like, yeah, I'm not so sure you want to do that, dude. You need your coin because otherwise the game ends. Gotta get another lord. Now, the only ones who are not available are these two. So we won't worry about them. But I have to kind of look at where they're going to start and what they're like and try to figure out what the hell I can do. So whoever's here would have to break through one of those. I mean, not necessarily, but it's not pleasant. But on the other hand, I don't want a lieutenant. I need to spread out. And I guess one of my requirements will be what kind of lordship people have, what kind of troops they have. Where they can pillage. Because, of course, we haven't gotten the recovery yet. So this is kind of, this is the weird thing about this game. It's almost like spring is your, is just for mustering and preparing for the summer and autumn campaigns in this game. Because the Seljuks look and they're like, yeah, there's nothing near me that I can do shit about, right? And it takes me a while to get up there anyway. Ah, fuck. Well, that means I don't really need the Arts of War or perhaps carts. But I'm torn as to what I want. Is there anybody there who can help me, is one of the questions. This guy has some forces. He's actually real troops. The elite commander. Whereas this guy has a bunch of Turkic horse, which are more effective because they get an extra command and whatnot. But he doesn't have much lordship. This guy has a mix, which isn't terribly helpful. Same with this guy. But this guy's got good lordship and command. All right, I'm going to go for him, I guess. He also has a high fealty, which is helpful. I only get 2 shots. And if I don't get him, I have to go again, basically. All right, I'm going to get him. Now the second choice is harder. Do I want a cart or do I want someone else? He starts down here. That means he could be my I could be his lieutenant and be in command. Like, I could be a lieutenant commander and take him with me in a stack. And it's not absolutely great because you can't unstack. You don't have the powers that a commander has. I'm going to go for this guy as well. I don't get him. So this is all I get, and I will operate them separately because of that. The campaign phase, one of the things that's going to be ugly is I kind of need to tax with these guys, especially with this guy, because each season I'm going to have to pay a coin for him. So again, it's sort of this, yeah, I can't make it to the border. I've got to get my taxes in order to keep my unit in the field and all that. My coffee's done. And here I am at the muster for the Romans, which is much, much bigger. And I think, again, I have kind of 2 forces. I have this Antioch force here, who with Aleppo in hand is in a very different kind of position. And then I got this major force that's going to try to fuck with one of the Seljuk forces and push it, push it out of the way and make it essentially unable to get any points. Things of importance. Remember, I lose half my carts every year. Is to look at my cart holding. So I only have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 now, which doesn't give me the kind of massive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 reach that I had before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 feels like sort of a minimum. So I'm going to have to gather some carts together. Do I want any lords for any reason? This guy is supposedly a penalty. I mean, he's got a bunch of militia. He's not very useful, but he does have a lot of lordship, which is kind of neat. He doesn't have a lot of service, doesn't have fealty, so he's hard to get. This guy I could pick up on the way. He has a lot of combat capability, but I got plenty of combat capability, so I don't know that that's terribly useful. And this guy would be helpful to him if he was under any threat, but I don't think he is. And are you really? No, you got bumped. Okay. Yeah, my Arts of War. I'm trying to figure out what comes in. I got a winter campaign, which for some reason I didn't use last turn. I guess I didn't need it, but in a mountain ambush. I can never remember what I'm holding. I really don't want to do this. Like, I don't know why. Like, the last day or 2 playing this, it was really kind of exciting me. And now I'm just dreading it. I feel like I don't understand anything and I'm going to fuck shit up again. Like, the game just... Even while I'm playing it, it just passes through my mind what kind of thing I want to do, and I feel like I'm tackling a completely new problem again. I'm debating whether or not to take that siege assault thing again with him. That was effective. His forces were useful. But outside of that, if I'm not going to draw lords, and I'm not going to muster cards, comes down to an easy choice. I need carts. This guy has 3 lordship. I mean, it's the only thing, you know? This guy has 3 lordship. Jesus. I mean, I could bring these in, but then I won't be able to supply them. I can supply this force of 4 lords. It would make more sense if I didn't have as many lords, but yeah, as it stands, just grab carts. Don't know what else to do, and carts are useful. Him, at the very least, I can expend them when I have too many things. Him, well, I might as well put this out. I don't need the troops, but if I'm going to have him there, and it's not like I need carts for anything. I'm gonna take the siege assault thing, because that'll speed my way through victory points here. He's operating on his own. He does not need carts. Now, the question is, what about the alliance? Do I want to keep that going? I think so. I think I need that closer supply source to be able to operate at all effectively. I think without it, I'm fucked. And over here, we'll make this because he can come across this way. I can utilize those to threaten any Seljuk forces. That's my 2 calls to arm. That puts us there, and we are going to break because coffee's ready, and I really don't want to do the campaign yet. But I feel like I'm getting more of a grip away from like, oh, go down and play my computer game, and a little bit more appeal to playing this again. It's just so easy to get like sucked into other stuff, and then sucked into other stuff makes it harder to face, especially something that's I know is going to require a lot of mental energy. Turns out the gathering is happening. Their daughter has a couple of kids and a boyfriend and whatnot. I just thought maybe they had decided to shift houses, but yeah, it's apparently happening there. I just caught too early a time and was confused by the smoker not being out, because I don't know, he's usually entranced by that and seems to like to do that, but not this year apparently. So yeah, I'm back up, ready to start the campaign season. Gotta push myself to do that, but I finished my roles to what I want to do next. Over there, Crimean War. At least the base rolls. It's a nice simple game, so had my cigar, had some coffee. And one thing that I've got to realize is that these computer games that I use, they're there to fill time. I've got to stop feeling obligated to play them, right? No matter what they are. They're not that exciting and interesting, but they may be more exciting and interesting than this situation right now in the game. Anyhow, let's get cracking, because that's the way I get to my next game. So I'm going for a simple interspersing them. Not going to stack them. Doesn't make sense with only 2 leaders on the board. I wouldn't be able to use the subordinates commands at all under those circumstances. not a lot else I can really do. I've got Al Barslam not coming until next year, so I've got to deal with a year without him, without good commanders, and I honestly don't have a plan for how to cope with that. Let's get over to the Byzantines. They should be a lot easier because one force to move down and threaten, and one force to work on, you know, conquering more territory, honestly. Change that plan. I'm going to tax with everyone and take the remaining moves with Romanos, if I so desire, to push him down. This kind of demands that I use him, but I also don't want to. I figure I have the game in the bag. I just want to protect myself, get the coinage in place, and all that. I could have just taxed a lot with Romanos still, but I want to get things deployed. So, yeah. It's going to be pretty much a not much happens turn because both sides are going to prepare for their summer and autumn. This is, I think, the lesson that I've learned with this is not to engage, to use that spring phase unless you've set things up in a particular way with people not going home or something that allows you to push harder. I could push harder here, but I want to make sure that's in good shape and ready to interfere where it needs to, rather than try to collect more points. I don't need those more points right now. Part of the initial prep phase, taxation and moving for them, it feels like prep when I have to spend an entire card to move one space. And likewise here, everybody just taxed. We need to collect up food next, I guess. Without a lot of carts, I'm not really able to do that. I can grab one food. If I grab a second one, I'd have to move laden, and a third one doesn't do me any good at all. My last Afsan Bay card, I'm regretting that I put him back here and took this guy, trying to get two forces together. Mistake. Again, I can't raid stuff that's close with either lord. And this guy has moved himself into a place where now I could grab some supplies, presumably, but then I can't move. Or I can move and I can't grab supplies because it's ravaged. Right? You can't do it at a ravaged location, period, and I've got no supplies anywhere else. I've kind of got nothing I can do. I'll move up here, hope I get supplies here, hope I don't fuck up and have to use up my coin. Should have probably just stayed back and taxed, given where I was, an extra card with that. As it stands, I would have been a lot better off with one unit in each place. But again, and, you know, I could have mustered someone back here instead of the guy that I mustered. I'm not quite sure why I mustered in the same location, because the pathways are just too painful. Now, I could go down here, but he's bigger than me too. You know, that's the problem. Anywhere that I go, I'm going to face a bigger than me enemy. The thing that I have to hope for is after spring and things clear up, I've got some targets to hit that are kind of close to the border. And that puts me to the Romanos. I may just suck up. I had one more provender. I may just suck my 5 provender because I have 4, 8, 12 carts. I mean, why not? Gets me prepped better for next turn. Now granted, I am going to have to throw something away, but that's okay. And that puts me to the end. And we have the growth phase. Well, it wrecks my victory points. I lost 1.5 more victory points, being thrown back even further from where the Romans are. You know, like I said, I don't think this is a winnable situation for the Seljuks at this point. It does open up place, you know, it's something that has to happen. And me digging deeper just puts me closer to the Byzantine armies. There's no repair to do. There's wastage. Not going to get rid of a coin. I can't afford to get rid of my cart. I only have one. Can't really afford to get rid of my coin either. Yeah, but that's where we are. And then we come over here and we have some serious too much cartage. I want to keep this in play. He could have taken a command to do that. And now my carts are down to 710, but I can carry that with what I've got. So I can do a quick press. Next turn is my first thing. Oh, 11, actually. And this guy over here, I don't have enough provender anyway. I don't know if that many carts even makes sense for him though, but yeah, whatever. I mean, he's only going to go this far, but anyway. And that gets me to an easy end of turn. And we'll come up for the next turn. Feeling that comes a lot of times with holidays of any kind, which is this vague feeling that I'm missing out on something. Even though, you know, I look back and I'm like, yeah, but even when I did holidays with family or friends and stuff, there might be some good memories and whatnot. It's not like it's always terrible or anything along that lines, but quite often there was this kind of feeling of boredom about it all. You know, I don't know. I'm noticing, it's kind of weird. I don't think we can see it from here, but one of my neighbors, yeah, kind of over there, their whole house is lit up. I don't think there's anybody visiting them. I think they're just, you know, spending a different type of day, right, than they usually do. I think they usually go out for dinner or something, I don't know, or maybe watch TV and stuff like that, but are now kind of having that special time. And I've had those where it counts, but it is this weird sort of feeling. I get this, 4th of July and New Year's Eve used to be, although there's not much celebration here, used to be sort of, in a way, the most poignant of this, even though they meant nothing to me ever, but there's such an external, you know, the fireworks and all. Anyway, I don't know. We're ready to start the new levy phase. I gotta shuffle the decks, haven't done that yet. Only by putting the personal stuff in can I go forward right now. So the Seljuks get 2 thematic troops desert. Alp Arslan in Athema removes 1 levied or unlevied service marker there. Powerful, but he's not even on the board. I don't know how powerful. Interesting. Each Roman lord and ravaged locale suffers wastage now. That's just this. I guess I lose me a cart that I probably had too many of anyway, so that's fine. And we'll check the Roman. Okay. Interesting and painful. First, I get another thematic unit back. Okay, great. No, this is a hold. Nomadic tribes go rogue. Play before a battle or storm. Remove up to 2 Turkic horse at the active lord's locale. Neat. You know, we're not doing anything though. What? I don't know. And we've got such a massive overwhelming force compared to whatever the Seljuks might be able to put up at this point, that I don't know. You can make an argument, hey, I could just throw those whole cards back in if I need them. I can't do it right now, and it's hard for me to remember at the end of the turn to hunt for them. And it's kind of it's got to be a resource that I absolutely want, or a capability that I absolutely want to do that. It can't be kind of a borderline thing, because I got something in my hand that might be useful and I don't have to pay anything to use it. Payments that have to be made, definitely have to pay Asen Bay to move him forward. Don't really need to do him. Don't want to. I never think to look for loot. I know there isn't any right now, so that's safe. What about the Romans? Oh, lots. But I want to keep these threats on the board, as well as the counters, you know. Shove them all forward. Hey, got too many there. The Emperor. Oh, not the Emperor. This is, what the hell is his name? I can't remember. Romanos. Yep. Want to keep him in play. Do I feel a need to pay for the Emperor? Oh. I mean, it's not like I'm going to lose that coin unless I absolutely lose a battle. And if I absolutely lose a battle, I'm not going to have I'm not going to need the coin as much. Like, if I absolutely lose a battle where he is, he's gone. Which means it doesn't matter that I pressed his service forward. So I might as well keep that as sort of a flexible thing. And that gets us to the musters. I don't have a way of bringing Alp Arslan into play. I do have Archer Dude available. And he is kind of cool. However, he's been hit with his fealty. And I'm already set up. Other lords, again, I'm already set up. I've moved forward. I honestly don't know what I need to do. Afson Bay may want another cart. He may want another cart. I probably want to pay to bring that into play, which is down in the levy. The call to arms. I realized I screwed up. These guys who are all Turkic horse, I counted 2 for their movement here, where they only needed to spend 1. I could have done more than I did. I could have moved up to Manzikert or something like that. Bother. And that would have given me the movement point. That would have given me the point that I needed to forage, I think. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I didn't have enough to do what I wanted to do by 1. And now I'm like, fuck. Yeah, I should have. It's so hard to remember. There's just so much in the game, right? And something just, like the carts last winter, something just slips my mind every time. Even though there's plenty of information, it's so dense, Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I have the same problem with something like A World at War when I'm playing it. That I lose track of things too, but it feels less devastating there, more like, oops, okay, I forgot something, But here, because the system seems kind of so clean and everything in a lot of ways, all that kind of chromey type stuff feels like more of a burden than in a game that's almost, entirely made up of that kind of thing, I guess. I don't know. Screw me. Much, much harder to cope with. So, trusted commander here. I didn't realize that, this works with him. He could have operated in conjunction with Afson Bay, and they could work together if he had this card. It's too late now, but now I'm realizing it finally, right? Like, knowing the deck, and you get to paw through it and look through it and everything, but knowing the deck is of vital importance. I was kind of hoping the Step Raiders could be used with Artuk Bay. They can't be. This is the only card that works with that, unless maybe I do not. I was thinking maybe I have a capability that I'm holding in my hand, that because I thought there were two of these that were for different lords. That's a shame, because from here he could operate through a lot of those. Where did I just put this? Yeah, this wouldn't work with either of them, so okay. Two that I'm looking at. Why have I not used this? I don't know. It's really powerful, gives them another command. I probably want that. And then this, instead of spending a coin, I can operate out of here just fine. And if he's moving up north, it kind of makes sense to do that. Those cards, and I will take a cart each. Hoping that it's enough. I, again, feel like I'm kind of blundering around with both sides, which is why I just pulsed the commands last turn and whatnot. I don't have a really strong view. I tried to gain one with this, saying, oh, I could raid all this stuff. That's actually really potent. Yeah, and this. But no, he doesn't have, he's not the right guy for that, And it's like, again, so much you have to balance, so much you have to have in mind. And what are those little red lights going on there? Lights down there. Sometimes there's work on the pole there. That's actually very close to, and might be, the other house that I was seriously considering, other than this one. It's way down on the next street down. An interesting place, but it ended up selling for about half the asking price. When I was looking at this one, it needed a lot of work. I don't know. That might be too far to my right, essentially. Okay, again, I'm just babbling anything that comes into mind. Speaking of which, my left eye still hasn't healed. It's burning regularly, and yeah, just not good. All right, let's try to figure out what to do with the Romans. No roles for new leaders. One of my reasons for that, it makes more sense after I return home, either to do it in the spring and operate together, or do it in the winter so that I'm set up with a leader ready for spring who can muster in spring as well. It might be very valuable to have another leader on the board, because good old Alp is coming back. Absolutely stupid numbers of carts, but it'll help me recover from winter. I can't figure out what else to do. Having taken that delay turn, essentially, to get myself in place much slower, to get enough coin up. I don't know if I have enough to cover everybody. I did bring somebody in, though. Brought this guy in. Forgot to mark him. Got the successful roll on him on one. I don't see the need for any additional military capabilities. So most of my cards have to do with military capabilities. They don't give me maneuver, or, there's stuff like being able to decrease, to devalue the coinage and stuff. I see that as a last year effort. Maybe. Maybe partway through the last year. Who knows? Just to get myself some more turns on everybody on that last turn for free, essentially. This guy, I gave him the fealty to the Basilisk so he doesn't have to return, because he looks kind of open, and I'm thinking this is the time to make my move. We'll see. And then this one, mainly to just move that whole force, but I'm going to get 8 commands, which allows me to do quite a bit. I don't need to activate this. The other option I don't need either. I could buy another one of those. I don't know if that's worth it. Coinage is always in short supply. Afson Bay, unfortunately, can't tax anymore. And I'm over here without coins. I'm going to have to successfully plunder something. There is that, which is a problem. Otherwise, I go away and am gone for the game, basically. What was the other? Oh, his side of things. I don't have any more of these to place. I could fiddle around with this. I don't particularly want to. So we are getting to the campaign, and I will break there. Even though I feel kind of like I should continue going. I want to keep my pace going. I got some history to read for Crimean War. Or more likely, I jump on the computer and fuck around with the game that I have there. One of the big problems I have with the computer game that I'm playing, like a lot of these online games, it hooks you in right at the beginning. And, you know, I played for a while and then kind of became more sporadic play, like they all kind of do. But I've hit a point where a lot has opened up to me all at once in it, and that's what dragged me away. All right, we're gonna play the old campaign. I gotta try to figure out what the hell I'm doing. Oh yeah, okay. So the big Roman army has gathered here. We got actually an extra leader there. And it's just so overwhelming that there's no way that the Seljuks can stand up to it. But some things have opened up where I could go sling into. And I don't know. I wish I could raid at range. A bit of a different strategy this time. I'm putting all one leader than all the other leader. Why? Because I can move in, grab stuff, and then position myself to run away or whatever, you know. It's just a different way of thinking. Now, here, I took myself the fealty, which means I'm planning on pursuing sieges to some extent. I think that means I'm going to go 4 with him and 4 with Diogenes. And I'll probably intersperse those a little bit. I'm going to put Roussel in there just because he can tax. No one else can tax. I don't have a lot of coinage. I don't have 5 coinage yet. Now, do I need 5 coinage? No, I only need 4, but yeah. Next year is going to be ugly. I may need to fiddle things around. Horribly so. Maybe disbanding a leader permanently in order to keep Diogenes on the path, or maybe disbanding some of these forces. I don't know. But I don't have the capacity. You know, all that taxation I did, yeah, it buys me a couple of turns with an army this big. I picked the wrong Norman. I swapped them out, but yeah, I picked Crepian from down here. Is not particularly, you know, I mean, this is the kind of, it's just easy to make that kind of screw up. And, you know, if you were playing it really competitive, like the people who are like, oh, you touch a piece, you got to move it. And once you take your hands off it, those kind of players would be like, oh, well, you chose a pass for some reason. That's your problem. For Arctic Bay, I grabbed provisions, moved. He doesn't have all Turkic, and I cheated with him. Fuck me. I don't know. Which means he's going to be overloaded, I guess. I just don't know what to do. What I was going to say is my plan was to push in and I may still do this. I'm going to bypass, right? But I have nothing I can do because I'm going over this 2 + 1 is 3 because I don't have all Turkic. So I can't do anything, and then I feed. And, you know, I didn't have to take that extra, but what I'm going to do, I think, is maybe not pillage this right away. I don't know. Like, it's just such a pain in the ass. But like, go down here, pillage this, move up, pillage that, then move back, giving me a position where I can fall back if need be. But I don't know how the calculation's going to go. And my next there is Chartreuse, who I do want to tax with because I like taxing. Let me think what I do here now. I have enough food. I move here for 1. 2, 3, I plunder. I don't want any chance of failure. That gets me a half point. Wow, mighty. I've got a moved fought on me. Doesn't matter. I might as well hold on to the loot because I'm going to have to eat one of those two. And now what's he got left? He's got 1 card left. He could go here and take a risk at it, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, it didn't do me a lot of good. Something. I was planning on feeding with Romanos. He has so many carts, he can grab huge quantities of food, right? Well, not really. But he can grab it from deep in. I forgot. But he has 5 commands, so I'm thinking grab 5 more food. And I realized, wait a minute, there is a limit to how many of each thing you can have. And I don't remember if it's 8 or 12. I may have violated it if it's 8. Let me go look that shit up. How many of each resource you can have. Dade 8, which means I can't have this. This is a problem, right? So someone like Nikephoros could have done the foraging at this point and grabbed, well, he can only grab 3. That's the thing. I want to be able to grab that 5. Given the amount of carts I have, I should be able to traverse to where I want to go. But what do I want to do? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, I can hit him. I could make it worse, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, coming from this direction, he'd have to flee that way. Well, might actually be kind of cool. Good old Artuk had to give up his loot in order to flee. And worse, he also has to feed himself. And here, you know, we got the big army harassing you causes serious issues. I got one more action. Let me calculate. I got 3 movement. I can pillage here. It's not, oh, it's guaranteed at 1. That's kind of nice. That would get me no loot. Then I can move here. That would be my second move. And then my third could be a pillage there. I'd give up a loot again. They ate the loot. And they're low on provisions at this point. So I think that's kind of what I want to do. Let's see. Just because I got to get these fucking markers down. I get a provision. That's 1. 2. And then 3. Is this infantry? I can't tell. Looks like militia. It is militia. Well, I wanna harass him. Actually use a purple die because it's the defense that's working here. It defends successfully, so I did not get a successful pillage there, and now I have to eat this. And we're back here. With Chartres. He has no food. He's going to have to gather up some food. He only has 2 actions, so sure. I'll just grab me 2 food. And I'm done with Artuk Bay. He's going to have to retreat, and he didn't get anything. He got a victory point, and 2 of those completed. But now I'm over with Afs and Beg. Now, it is Bay, not Beg. It looks like a G, damn it. Romanos knows that all of the Artuk Bay cards have been played. He can't do any more with him. So you get kind of this weird time-lapse thing where a force can get a jump and do more in, say, the first half of the season or whatever, but then they can't do anything else. And that feels a little like you start screwing with time like that for me, and I start wondering, that doesn't really make sense because he's somehow reacted, driven him back, and now can't? I don't know. And I got this on the wrong guy. I got them both on the wrong guy. Okay, that's cool. All right, fair enough. So he's got a 4 command, which is a big deal because I could move here. I could forage. Okay, that's fair. 1, 2, 3, 4 would give me that. I've got to get a food. That's my problem. 3, 4. Not thrilled about this because I'm not going to be able to put down as many as I want to. But I get a provision, which I'll eat, and a loot that I need. I could be hit, though. That's the problem, couldn't I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, not this turn. Okay. So I'll eat the provision, and I'll take the loot there. And here we have Diogenes again, who, I guess he's going to want to hit this, but it's not absolutely clear to me what else he's going to do. Testing out a concept, one that I instinctively knew was bad. We take a look at what's going to happen to Artuk Bay here. Well, first of all, I can't feed my whole army. Oh wait, I got a provender there. Actually, that's over here because I would have had to eat in that there. Okay. If I move here 1, I have 5 actions. I move here 1, say he flees. Could flee up here. Could flee back here. He's got lots of different choices. But no matter what, it's going to be over a pass. Then 2, 3 to whatever location. He'll have a moved thought on him, but he could flee multiple times. But he's out of cards. He can't find any more food. However, he does have coin, so he can pay off at the beginning of next turn. He doesn't. I don't believe there's a disband always. Oh no, there is a disband always. So yeah, so I would be able to pay him off each turn that he's taking a hit due to not being able to feed. Is that worth it, or is it more important to drive this guy back? I only have one army. It's the way my command cards are structured. I can't like split somebody off or something. I don't have the capability. This also feels a little weird to me, and this is series issues, right? Which is that my enemy divides his force in front of me, and I wasn't expecting that. I haven't planned to divide my force. I don't have commands for that. I can only pursue with my entire force. I could leave somebody behind to garrison or whatever, to block, but what I can't do is I can't split my army to chase down two separate enemies unless I had planned for that. And if I planned for it, I probably made it so I can't operate properly with my main army. Now, it would be possible, again, the way I normally interleave, somebody like this in with the main army, that actually would work. And I don't know, you might be able to even get away. I don't know if you can make a lieutenant in this space that has a commander, or have a lieutenant in a space that has a commander. I know you can't put the commander on as the subordinate, but I think you could have a lieutenancy and operate like that. And that would be your only way to split things off. But the fact that I'm trying to do something here in the South means, yeah, that army can't split. As I was counting on being able to provender my army. My army is so big that I can't move it all safely. So what I'd want to do is have, a lot of provender sitting on the army, as much as I possibly can. But I can't move this big an army. And that actually is accurate. I like that factor, but it wasn't what I was counting on. So now I'm looking at I could gather 3 more provender to get to 8. But I can't gather the 5 that I want to get. But that means if I move this whole army, I eat all 5 of this, then I'm sitting there without any provender, and if I'm forced to fight, I probably win, so I'm safe. Okay, fair enough. I was just thinking, if I was forced to fight something where there was any risk in the matter, the enemy might hit me and withdraw, and they still might, right? Afson Bey could come in, hit me, and withdraw, and if I don't wipe him out completely, he could move fights on me that my only answer is to expend my coins, which then puts me in a position where my army is going to disband. And again, I don't mind this. It seems historically believable, right? The idea that an army under harassment would kind of collapse, maybe not due to lack of food and pay and whatnot so much, but that it would actually, force that army to start falling apart, and that it might just collapse of its own weight under that. I don't know. There's a shitload of options. I've just chased him a couple of spaces. 3 of my movement. I could choose to bypass here and grab a couple of supplies. Or I could start levying a siege on that. Well, if I levy a siege, I could assault it. It's only a level 2. I think we've decided level 2s aren't that bad. They're not. And that would be a major hindrance, even though I'm letting Afson Bey then move around and pillage me pretty heavily. The other option, or another option, is I could back up here. I could try moving up this way. I'm probably better off grabbing a couple of supply, but I don't know. Like, I can definitely chase him off so he's not doing much. But I could also assault that city. I have, I think, one more Diogenes. Yeah, just one more, because I was counting on him sieging that. I don't know. I think I either fall back. This is a long route. Oh, fuck. But I can't press through this. So it's kind of a longer route. Now, I can't go forward this way no matter what. Yep. I don't know. Or do I try to drain him? Now, I know he has coin, so I know he's not going to go away easily. But I know he doesn't. That makes this move back very appealing. And then I have to eat all my provender, unfortunately. But that means I can get more next turn. But I'm not going to have enough pieces to do what I want to do. This is summer, yeah. Things were uglier. I didn't realize. Let's back this up. He hasn't moved yet. For me to retreat, I had to give up my loot. We got 5 food on there. We'll probably be getting 1 back, but that means we can't just go moving because we don't have enough movement. And he has to do his eats. But what's happening here is I had 2 actions left. I think I grabbed 3 provender instead of this loot. And I had to stretch back to get that. And that puts us on Afson Bay again. What can he do? Well, he's got a problem. For some reason, he has no food. I think I fucked up. I think I gave that food and that loot to the wrong person. Fuck. Because he looted this. Oh boy. If that's the case, then we go back to what we were at, which is this. He's down a coin instead. He's got a food and a loot on board his. I don't know. I don't know what my fuck up was. And that means I'm threatened. I can count on 2 more Diogenes cards coming from here. Figure this was some kind of bluff, which means I'm in trouble. I cannot just bypass stuff like I would like to. And pathways this way are not in good shape, which I think means that for his second card, he could go 1, 2, 3. I would be able to run back. That's the whole thing. I can run away at speed. Let's go forward. I don't know. I know that it's safer than I thought it was. I spent 2, and that's not 1. It's 1, 2. I'm being blocked, presumably by that infantry, because I had to bring my loot with me. I am not blocked by the infantry, which means that I succeeded. This goes up. I get another food and another loot here. I'll eat the food, keep the loot. Is that wise? I'm going to get chased away. I'll eat the loot, keep the food. I got a bypass marker on there. Fair enough. And see what the Romans do. Well, I get a pass. I don't know what the Roman cards are. I see him moving in for that siege, and I'm like, well, it wasn't a complete bluff then, but he has this, which means he could sit there for longer than I expect. And he's got good supply lines and everything. So now the question is, what do I do? I have 3 actions on an Essen Bay. What if I go 1, 2, 3? That's no fun. One, two. I got 4 actions. Hold on. 1, 2, 3 to here, and I loot. Does he want to stop me? Might as well. Not much other use for him. This time he succeeds, and I get nothing. And, fuck. I have to eat. Am I going to be able to get that loot anywhere home? No, I'm going to eat it. Because that's been part of my problem, is hauling that loot around, but I can't afford otherwise. We get him again. What we learned was that these are takeable. So, I think I am going to grab some foods. I can only get 1, because he's not particularly good. I only get 1 round of assault. Alright, we'll siege. That uses up my food, though. I get 1 piece, and I need a 1 to succeed, which I do not get. So I eat my food, but I get another siege marker. 2 rounds, I'm probably able to take this, because there just isn't all that much there. But I don't have another card. What about good old Afson? I could take a shot at this again. But I'm going to take a shot here. 1, 2, 3. We're going for a deeper raid here. We're going to try to defend against it. Oh, actually, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna drop 1 for sure. That gets another victory point. And what's important here, that gets me a food and a loot. Might as well keep the loot, because I don't have enough carts to carry everything. Anyhow, that was the last card there. Last card here is a Romanos. Not really what I was expecting, and now I've got a way around and to send him into bad places, I guess. But I don't have food, which means I need at least 2 more food for my forces. 1, 2. I'm still at 5 because I'm in Imperial territory. 3, 4. Do I need this whole big army? Not really. 5. He could fall back here or here. Problem? I have to lose my loot to them. I have to eat. And then they have to eat. Did I need that big a force? No, but that gets us to end of turn. I know I'm going into all these details again that I'm not supposed to go to. Repairs were safe. Wastage. I can't give up my food. Give up a cart, but that's not pleasant either. Over here, he's back there. Can I give up this? I'm all the way back here. I'm going to give this up. I can always muster it again if I want to. Over here. Give up a cart because we got plenty. Don't have to give up. Give up a cart because we got plenty. At some point we don't have plenty. I want the central admin. I need this. I give up a cart. I give up a provender. I might get attacked, but if I get attacked, I'm going to be draining money anyway. So I'll probably win the battle. I keep forgetting to use him. He gives up a card. He had 6. I'll put him to 5. We look down here. Reset. See, here's the problem. I read one thing on reset. There's not enough. I can discard. I don't think I want to. Unstack. Advance. We're going into the winter. And I break and go play with my spaceship some more. On, I guess, Black Friday, it was kind of funny. You know, I guess I lamented or whatever, not really being connected to most holidays. But this is not a holiday, obviously, but a day that just meant nothing to me. It was kind of oh, look, there are weird people on TV, like, pillaging stores, essentially. What's up with that? And I've never dealt with it in any sort of sense, other than, hey, maybe there's an online sale or something that I peek at. I don't think I've ever bought anything on Black Friday particularly, but one of the places my first wife and I went for Thanksgiving pretty regularly was her best friend's family's house, and they did it every year. Now, you know, the weird part about it to me was simply this: oh, we got to get to bed early so we can get to Black Friday. But they were the only people I ever knew who did that, and it was just kind of a weird thing. Anyway, I'm up here. I'm gonna go dancing in several hours. And I have absolutely no interest in doing anything but the game, in the sense of, like, wow, I really ought to get this done, you know, get the winter completed at this point. There's something kind of weird that happens whenever there's a time pressure or something. I feel more that I have to do something. Well, anyway, we'll get started. I don't know if I'll make it through the turn, because of the way, you know, I'm like hungry, for example. But anyway, I pull Eastern Rebellion's defeated. This is something that helps out Barcelon if and when he comes back. I've got such a handful of cards to work against the Romans, but we saw they didn't really work terribly effectively last game that I did them. Or last turn that I did them. So I really don't know, you know, I'm not avoiding using them for any reason. It's more that I get caught up on flipping the command cards and I forget about those Arts of War. If I enter into a battle, I'd probably look at them, but I know that I can't enter into a battle. And then I got the passes closed again. This is this campaign, so it's actually not available. I won't have the Deep Braids card available. It's kind of an interesting thing. I don't know if there's a passes closed for both sides. But by picking the Deep Braids, you can reduce the possibility of weather. This is one of the things that I don't know how much I feel like that the system works properly. To put random events to be at all controllable by the players, right? Truly random events. The weather is not going to be controllable by the players. And it's just, you know, it's not to the degree that like a CDG has it where you feel like you have a weather wizard in your hand. But I do have that possibility of changing the likelihood of bad weather. I don't know. Okay, and I've got a hold card that causes hits when a Seljuk Lord marches, avoids battle, or retreats. Each moving Lord takes a hit. This is going to, something like this would be very effective against, it says no losses rolled. If the defense is overcome, I guess they don't make that final roll. I think I looked that up before. I'm not going to do it again. I think that's the terminology that was used. If it's different, fuck, you know. If it takes a hit, can't roll against it at all, that's a little harsh. Then I get the assassination plot. Ibn Khan, if within 2 of Aleppo, is permanently disbanded. Well, he's already gone. Otherwise, shift his service. So this is just a no effect. Time to pay. Well, we got problems. Asif Bey is gone. And he's over here. Had them all set up neatly. I can't do a thing about him. And this is why I say, you know, the game is probably over. Is this kind of thing is just, once you have very few lords, it's really hard to keep them on the board. Let's take a look at this other guy here. I don't need to pay with him. If I had them together, I could have paid Asif Bey to keep him alive. Now I've got another, you know, just a single Lordship 2 guy. It's all I would have had anyway for mustering, because Asif Bey was back in Roman territory. Romans, I have 2 groups. I can use coin from the second group, from Romanos' group, on anyone that I wish to. Well, but I definitely want Chartorius to be a threat for the turn. I don't want to disband him. In fact, I want to keep him going longer than this. Luckily, I have a fair amount of coin on him. What about these others? Well, I have coins on these 3 and on Romanos. I want to pay all of them. And you know what? This guy's too valuable not to pay off. So I will... Oh, I actually don't need to pay everyone. Hold on. Rousselard does not have to pay himself off. I could. But all the rest, I just paid off. And so their counters all move forward. The pass is closed, stays here. We spent a shit ton of money. $5. But, you know, and that makes next turn dangerous. I'm only going to have a couple of lords available. But this was the only guy I could have disbanded, and if I did so, he would go there. He's someone I want to keep. I have a couple of bucks on hand, so I can keep Romanos and him. I'm not going to be able to keep Manuel unless I capture some loot. So that's actually kind of the thing. Would I rather get rid of him and have another buck and be able to keep everyone next turn? Yeah, you know what? I'm actually gonna disband Nicephorus. I don't need as big an army as I have, is what it comes down to, and I don't see another way around this. So he is my yellow. his entire thing is also going to go away. That's 4 carts I lose, which sucks. But, you know, and some good troops. He's a really good leader. Normally I wouldn't allow him to disband, but people have to pay for themselves before they pay for someone else. So that's my army. And it's muster time. Factor, if I lose this coin, I'm in trouble. Because I don't get a chance to tax or anything before next turn. So I would lose my last lord. That's a real problem. Other issues? I mean, I need a second lord. I really do. In order to operate. Because I pay this coin next turn, that's going to put me in a bad position. This guy is going to have to go somewhere where he can tax. Now, he can walk, you know, he can fall back to there at the beginning of his next year. But I don't know. And then I'm sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 when I need 15. That means I'm handing 4 more victory points to the Romans. I'm not going to be able to do a lot more to them. I've got to ignore what they conquer here. I can't afford to attack that stuff. This is all filled in. It's not going to clear out. There's a big army there. I can, you know, maybe get some hits here, but I'm going to be reacted to by that big army. Oh, I did something wrong. This is the guy. 1, 2, 3. He will be available. So he can't do anything that turn. So he shows up in Constantinople. But, I just don't see a way of making it through. You know, I can survive the game with the Seljuks, which is better than either player did last time I played. But I do not see a way that I'm going to be able to make, you know, that I'm going to be able to make victory point gains on the Romans under these circumstances. You know, there's 2 points here they're going to get. I've got to deal with that. The Seljuks are just hard, and obviously, if you start losing lords, they become harder, but I don't know how you can avoid losing lords. Like, the supply rules and whatnot, I mean, you can avoid losing lords if you don't conflict, right? And you just let the Romans advance into you and whatnot. Obviously, that's not what you want to do, because they'll gain points. You won't get these. Getting the Seljuk unity points and keeping a reasonable number of lords, it's beyond me at this point. And obviously, this game is over. So I'm kind of considering whether I want to quit to get this up there. I don't know. I don't really know. There was a brief period in this, around this first winter, where I thought I was doing okay, but time is so far in the Romans' advantage. They can spawn more troops. And once they get a reason, and that's why I say I think the only thing you can do is try to win a victory with the Seljuks in that first turn. You're probably at a little bit of a disadvantage. But that feels like, you know, to throw the Romans back where they're in this kind of position, where they're not able to contest. And then, if you've got free reign, yes, I can see where you can hit those points and start banking stuff. And then the Romans would come back. I mean, the game was close in that first winter, but the Romans could come back still from a loss, just because so much is stacked against the Seljuks. So I kind of feel like the Seljuks have to take advantage of a near parity in that first turn and threaten the Romans enough that they have to come down and fight you. It's not a bad fight for the Romans. I think they have the advantage, to tell you the truth, still. It's not much of one, but they have the slight advantage. But it gives the Seljuks an opportunity to maybe win. I don't know. I'm really hungry at this point and low on tea. I'm going to do the muster later. Okay, so in the muster phase, I had 2 failures to bring in another commander. I only have 2 lordship. That's all I can use. This is a problem. I wanted one of these 2 because they could do the adjacency raids. I'm thinking that's sort of the last straw. It's not like I do survive next turn, but I don't know. Anyway, like the last straw for what? I'm going to lose anyway as the Seljuks, right? I'm just kind of left with I have to go bold, but I didn't get anything at all, that allows me to do a damn thing. I'm going to try to raid as far as I can and take as many put as many of these as I can into play, I guess. But I'm also not going to refuse battle, I think. I'm taking it to the, a ridiculous string of luck could win me the game. It's not going to happen. Yeah, let's just, let's call it here, I think. Because I don't see much point to playing out the inevitable. Oh, I'm actually in the spring. Right? No, I'm in autumn. Can I use the passes closed for something? It looks like they hurt me more than they help me. I'm trying to see. I can't go up this way. I can't go this way. I can't go this way. So my only action is this way. Of course, once I do that, the concentration comes down towards me. I don't know. Let me keep going. We'll see what the turn brings. I've got a feeling that I'm going to engage in battle against him, actually, as my only option. And that's going to pretty close to lose me the game. It's worded, I think it's only if they're going across a path in march, avoid battle, or retreat. It means it's not going to be of any effect this turn. I thought it was every movement. And I'm like, wow, that pretty much cancels out a card. Nah, it just causes a hit. It's almost nothing. A lot I can do. I look through the cards. There's nothing I particularly want. I can muster cards. That's useful, of course. There is one thing I could do. I have a coinage problem. I have 4 leaders and only 3 coins. All 4 leaders are to be disbanded. Next turn, I could raise myself this guy, conceivably. Can't do him. Raise this guy. He'd show up in Constantinople. He shows up with a coin. He could also tax. He has a 2-turn service. I don't terribly need him, but there's not much I really need or can do. I don't even have troops I can muster. I guess I could muster a Tagmata here. That's of some value to someone. But yeah. And this guy's outside of... Well, this guy can't even muster, so screw him. The thing that I have is the numisma debased. I can put this out and then use it don't want to use it next turn, but I could use it the turn after. I'm going to need to build up carts again after winter, so it's not a bad use to try to do that as well, because that gets me another calendar box. Once I leave Constantinople for my last campaign, it stops hurting me. I did both. It took me 5 rolls to get him. But again, it's not that big a deal. I didn't want to double up on anything with him because wastage takes effect. Everyone else is going to get hit by wastage anyway. And now we program. And this is kind of complicated because he needs, first of all, he needs some food. He needs to be able to operate, to be able to get to him quickly, but he probably wants to hold a card till the end too, just to be able to reposition himself somewhere at the very end. And then the other 3 cards, because it's a 7-card turn, will go to passes. Definite puzzling about what to do with the commands. I want to expend a decent number on him. I put 3. I interleaved them. The rest were all Romanos. That's an iffy thing. If I took some other lord, I could collect up supplies with another lord. But this guy only collects 3 supplies on his turn. I would like to rebuild that fort. That is an extra point. Why don't I do that? Because I can take supplies too. Yeah, that's a sensible move. Call to arms? Shit. I need the coin. I can't put this out there. That means I can't supply. He doesn't have that capability. I can't supply later on. I may have fucked him over. I doubt it. Like, there are ways. And I can forage and stuff like that, so whatever. What about his call to arms? The Empress. I can never remember what her capability is. Like, one is, I think, exchange a service marker from someone for a service marker for the Emperor, which is definitely useful, but not right now. But let me see, because it's hard for me to remember anything. I can't do any more strategic objectives. I've placed them all. Shift a Roman cylinder, 1 calendar box. I could bring him closer. That's worth doing. Decrease the service of a lord with a seat located at Constantinople to increase the service of Diogenes, which might be useful too. But right now, I'm going to just... No! I'm going to just move that forward. If I could get him forward another one, it would be great. But, yeah. And I don't have to pay to do hers. I just can place, and it's the only thing I can do at this point. All right, we're ready to start rocking. I did 2 rounds of combat were probably sufficient to take this out, so I'm going to take a shot at that. I'm not going to play you through it. I know it's more interesting than my life history stuff that I throw in, but it is what it is. Was indeed successful. Looked iffy after the archery round. I lost a Tagmata though permanently, and that'll move us on. I gotta swap batteries. Reset the date time. It just annoys me too much when it comes up. I don't know. I don't know why. Oh boy. Okay, so Diogenes filled up his carts. Not going to be able to do much. Didn't I put... Yeah, I got Manuel as my next one. Okay, whatever. Had some surprise. Artuk Bey has the next chit. Now, my plan would have been to go fight him. I can't beat him, and he could hide in his castle. Another option, I could grab food. No, I could go, and I'm also loaded up. I could go 1, 2 to here, but then I can't forage or anything. So I'd have to count on my ravage being successful here. Otherwise, I have to spend the coin. If I spend the coin, I'm done, because I will not have a coin for the next turn, despite being relocated home. I really don't know. I don't think I have any choice. I think I go in to fight him. I have 3 commands. I could actually I could forage for another provender first. But that's about it. Because I could go 1, 2, 3. Okay, get it. Let's put that on there. Just for whatever shits and giggles. And now, his question is, does he fall into the fortress? Or does he fight? I don't know that this army can make it down there on 2. It will not be able to make it. So I could take a smaller force and maybe capture another thing. I just don't think that there's anything this guy can do. I could beat him in battle, and that would be great. But I think I'm gonna drop into. Why do I have this here? I gave the point. I could drop into the fortress, and that's the safer game, and then use Diogenes to try to take Manzikert. And I think that's the safe move. There's no reason for me not to put a siege here. It's not going to do a damn thing, but it does make him even more defensible. The problem, of course, is I have a Chartaturus card coming, which I'm just going to end up wasting now. But such is life. This guy's just handcuffed. Why give him a chance? Any chance, you know? We passed with whatever commands we had. 2 commands, 3 commands? 2 commands. And Arctic Bay, well, he's got 3 more no commands, but they're not going to make a damn bit of difference. I got my Comnenus, which means I gathered some food. Probably going to want to take him with me just because he's got more food. There's no chance of whatever I leave behind getting hurt. Got that. Then we go to another Chartaturus. Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, he'll pass again. And now we're on the Romanos. We have 2 Romanoses in a row. The hope is to be able to storm something like this. Oh, this battery's almost dead. Because we had a big 5 command points to go. I grabbed a couple more food before heading. I'm still within limits. That's fine. And we move in. We throw the siege down. I got to do it on 1 card. That means it's going to be a 1-round siege, because this is all I got. What can he do? I don't know. I can move on from the siege. I can't take Aleppo. I'm not going to take this. I have 3 commands. I can't get beyond Antioch. There basically is nothing I can do. I can ravage this. only cost me one. It's not worth anything though, except points. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Yeah. I feel like it's time to quit. Like I'm failing too much. He's not going to be able to bring anything. We can see how little he can do on his own. If he brings two more commanders in, they're still not going to be able to do shit. The point spread has just gotten worse. It's probably going to get even worse. It's definitely going to get worse from this because I'm looking at 1, 2, 3. I don't have that. 4, 5, 6. This is gone now. 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm looking at 5 more points shifting over. I mean, the decision to take the siege by Chateautoris is pretty much a, yeah, you know, I've got this in the bag. I'm just putting it in my pocket. I'm not worried about fighting you. Even though I could probably win, it's not worth it. Would somebody actually do that? And probably not. Probably not. I have a bonus. I think I have a winter campaign here, so that if I don't take this, I actually could have hit it again. I haven't chosen yet. I could just siege that. I have enough food to hit 2 rounds, but I don't see much point to it. And I really feel like I'm just wasting time up here at this point. So I think we call this here. The big point that I've learned is that I'm not competent at playing the Seljuks. Yeah, I mean, my first instincts, the first time I played, the instinct of putting Alp Arslan out where the Romans could hit him when they didn't have that big an advantage was not a bad one. I'm not sure I see another way of the Seljuks winning. Now, I may just be stupid not seeing something, but man, they've got so many places. Like, once the Romans build their army, or once the Byzantines build their army, they can't push forward the way they were in that first turn. And I kind of wonder how much the campaign was play tested. Or am I just missing something? I know that, you know, the individual scenarios are going to work relatively well because there's not really a chance, maybe there's one where there is, but the starting scenario or whatever is perfectly fine because there's not really a chance for the Romans to get stupid powerful where they can basically make you pay for sticking your nose into Roman territory. I don't know. But again, I may just be too you know, I'm not claiming any kind of expertise at being able to manage the Seljuks. I broke a little below even on that first turn when I had the most advantages, when my requirements were the least. They're tough. They're tough, man. All right, I'm going to send this up and call it a quit here. Because there was a fair chance that he would have just destroyed him on his chance. And I don't see a useful action he can do. He can't besiege it. He could storm it. That would be horrible. He can get as far as Antioch, which doesn't help him. In this direction, he could move up that way. It doesn't help. He could forage and get more providence or provender, which, you know, would be useful for next turn, but maybe not. And I'm too, it doesn't seem worth putting another, you know, couple hours or whatever into playing the next year when there's nothing of value that's going to happen. Alp Arslan is not going to be able to save my ass here. He's not that good. He will not have a muster until later. And I'm just going to be in such a hole in victory points that it just seems pointless to play out more of this route.